2007 to 2011, I replied to every single email and tweet I got until 4 in the morning. Nobody knew who I was, so I would go into Twitter search wine terms, and jump into conversations that people would tweet having this Pinot Noir, and I would reply. They didn't know me, and I would reply, "That's a good one. Did you try the year before?" And slowly but surely, for hours and hours and hours, for years and years and years, I built a foundation that years and years and years later started the creation of what people see now. And meanwhile, people start a TikTok account, post 5 times, don't go viral, and they're like, this sucks. The lost art of patience and foundational. And this has a lot to do with parenting. Our parents' generation around the world, where they could, when they borrowed money from parents. Our parents borrowed money from grandparents and paid them back if they wanted a house or start a business. Now, kids think their parents should just give them money.
Yeah.
If you're 22 years old or older in the world and your parents are giving you money, you're in deep trouble.
Why?
Because you have been told by your parents and you've told yourself that you were incapable of standing on your own 2 feet.
Correct.
Which immediately leads to insecurity, which leads to very bad behavior.
Dependent.
The end. And then when I say this, and this may be the 5th or 6th time I've said this publicly, I'll get a bunch of emails saying, you don't know me, I have 2 children from a bad man who left me. I'm like, live in a worse house. I'm like, why am I looking at your, if your situation's so horrible and you need to think your parents, why did I just click your Instagram account and you have a Prada bag? We've become so materialistic that people want all these things, but they want them. The question is, why do they want them? They want them because we're communicating to the world. Every one of us right now is wearing what we're wearing, our haircuts, everything, communication. We're positioning ourselves to the world. I really, really think there's a lot of important conversations that are not being had. I'm trying to throw them out there, and I remember, meeting with you like a year ago. Like, I like when people see what and my hope is that if I have the courage to say stuff that people aren't talking about, then others will start doing it. Like, these are important, this is an important video. If one kid or grown up watches this on YouTube and changes their behavior, that's intense legacy.
Can you share a little bit of your philosophy on patience? What has kind of grown your business and your brand?
Yeah, I think it's the biggest vulnerability in business. I think people are trying to get to places too fast because they care about what other people think of their success, and then they start doing things that don't help them in the long term. I don't understand how people don't act as if they're gonna be around in 10 years. Your reputation matters. If you plan on being in business, patience is foundational. So yeah, for my kinetic energy, and I'm pretty kind of like mundane for my normal self right now. I'm in the funny zone. I'm like laughing that I'm so like chill, but the reality is I'm ridiculously patient. To me, I'm playing in perpetuity. I'm gonna be a businessman at 84 years old. So what am I scared of? I love when people when I put out patience content, they're like, you might get hit by a bus. I'm like, I might. I promise you I'm not gonna give a fuck if I'm dead. Right? So I think patience is grossly underestimated. Business and life is a marathon. 99% of people think it's a sprint. Why they think it's a sprint is why I've gotten interested. I didn't realize how many people cared about other people's opinions, because I got very lucky in parenting DNA and circumstance that wasn't my framework. So people are impatient because they want to buy a car to look good in front of people. Or they want to get a new title to update their LinkedIn to show people they're succeeding. The thought of navigating your life predicated on keeping up with the Joneses is the quickest way to unhappiness. So So I'm trying to make patience cool because it's gonna make people happy. So what do you want to happen in this next year and a half from a business? You want more money?
I want to at least start to test the water, do things with my product, but it's not going to be as great as it would be in a year and a half. Do you suggest sitting, being patient a year and a half?
I mean, if you feel proud of what you're selling right now, you could, even though it's not at its apex, then I would sell. If you're, bless you, if you're not proud of it, then I would not sell. Right? I think one of the things that salespeople and business owners really, so like I love being a salesperson, right? Like I think purebred salespeople are the best. My question is, do you believe in what you're selling?
Not yet.
And then you shouldn't. To me, the reason I've always been good at sales is I've never sold anything I don't believe in. VaynerMedia could be 4,000 people if I was willing to make TV commercials. So for me, I just want to be proud of what I'm selling.
Yeah, I keep on saying in my head, that when I'll be wearing my t-shirts, proud with all my slogans, and then I'll be ready.
You just need to make sure that you're not bleeding too much into being a perfectionist, which is usually a disguise for insecurity or fear of selling.
True point.
So you know what, that's the delta, you know? That's the delta, because perfection is an illusion. It's just an excuse not to do. Normally predicated on insecurity of actually converting.
So what's the number one thing you wish you knew when you're starting out? So I'm 18, and what is the biggest lesson you learned when you got on the new level?
What's the biggest lesson I learned? To follow your gut. To always just follow your gut. You know what I'm saying? A lot of shit is gonna distract you.
There's opinions that you may look up to when you first go into it, but you realize they don't know shit.
Absolutely. Follow your intuition. You know what I'm saying? Listen to your gut. It's never wrong, and it knows what the fuck you want before you do.
For me to answer the first part of your question, the one thing I wish I knew when I was starting out is the thing that I preach to you guys all the time, and even though I believed it religiously at the time, even though I was 100 on it, I would have been 110 on it, which is patience.
Facts.
When you're hungry, when you're 18, when you want to be the biggest in the world, like, it's patience. I'm 41, right? About to turn 42 in November. So it's not as, you know, I don't know if you play this game. John, is it? John, I don't know if you play this game. When I was 18, John, this is what I would play. I'm like, okay, I'm 18. And in 18 years, I'm gonna be 36. That's young as shit. I have my whole life in front of me. Everything I just lived, I have all that time in front of me, and I'm still gonna be 36. And I would do that literally. Even at 30, I remember doing, I'm like, fuck, I've done a lot already. Wine library was already big and everything. I kind of made it a little bit. I was like, and I've got my whole life, and I'm gonna be 60, which is old, but not fucking dead yet. But now I'm 41, and I'm like, okay, I've lived this whole life. Okay, 41, I'm gonna be 82. I'm like, 82's a little like, and so for me, even with the game that I've played my whole life about doubling up my number to make me realize how much time I still had, so fucking be patient, do the right thing, shortcuts kill you, like do it right. Even now, even though that doesn't sound as good, I still do it. The fact that you're 18, John, which means you're double your age, you're still 5 years younger than me, that's fucking insane. And the thing is, you are so quick to be put on, to showboat, to win for yourself, for the world, whatever it may look like, it usually leads to the move that keeps you away from winning.